Welcome to my corner of the universe, which is not doing its thing. Here we go. We're on now. Perfect. Well, I think that's probably a good way to start because it has been one of those weeks and one of those days. So, no introduction today, no view of me today. We're just going to be seam ripping, which is in some ways quite satisfying and in other ways is a pain in the butt. So, here we go. I got some new garden furniture, as some of you will know, which is very nice. And I decided that the seat pads needed a cover. So I had a whole bunch of these squares, lots and lots of squares, which I had originally put together a bunch of squares to quilt, just as a little knotted quilt at the corners for wedding gifts a couple of years ago. And I had a whole bunch of squares left over. And so instead of using new fabric, I decided to do it with those because they were already made. And I measured out and I got out my sewing machine, put it up, and started to sew, and it was fine. Then I needed to change the bobbin because it needed more thread, as it always does, and put it back in. And then the tension was absolutely wrong, totally wrong, just wrong. Couldn't get it to work right. Took an hour of my time just to figure out that I had, of course, threaded it wrong, which is almost always the case. I mean, how many times do we, something goes wrong with the Wi-Fi, something goes wrong on your computer, something goes wrong on a camera, and all it takes really is to turn the whole thing off and to reset it and turn the whole thing on. But in the process, we just keep thinking that there's something wrong that we've done, and there hasn't been anything wrong. It's just needs to change. So turning off, turning it on. I've been finding that a lot lately. And I'm finding that the universe is just trying to teach me to be maybe slower about what I do. Not necessarily better. Please don't. Some of these were sewn with seams that were, as I was practicing or trying to get the tension right, so they're not going to work very well. But to be honest, at this point, I really just don't care. Anyway. So once I figured out that I just had to rethread it correctly and to make sure that it was under the tension thing in the bobbin, everything was pretty much fine again. But that was actually an hour of my time. I've got a new iPad, but the iPad, when I plug it into the computer, they don't say hello to each other. This is another issue because I want to be using that iPad to do some of the recording for this particular program. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I really can't afford to buy a new computer, and they're both Apple, so it shouldn't be a problem. But the C2C connection is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. I'll figure it out eventually. But at the moment, I'm just really frustrated. I don't know what it is about this last couple of weeks. I mean, is it the solstice coming up? Was there an alignment of planets that we were unaware of? Was there a full moon that just made things miserable? And the sun's come out. I'm supposed to be happy when the sun's come out because here in Britain, when the sun comes out, you notice because so much time during the year, particularly from end of September to March, it's dark. And it's dark a lot of the time. So when the sun's out, you notice the sun's out. It's one of those things. Told you this was going to be a rant. I don't lie. Or I try not to anyway. Whoop, there's another piece off. What am I doing here? Yes, I decided that I needed 6 instead of 7 squares joined together. So I'm just taking off one square from the strips that I'd already made. It's going to look really cute. I'm going to be very happy with it. Someday I'll be very happy with it, just not today. That's another one. What's the next one going to be like? Here we go. Oh, let's take off this one. Where was I ranting this week? It's a sunshine thing, isn't it? It's a solstice thing. It's the summer thing. It's it's just, calming down now. I had a weird day yesterday, but I think all of this is just leading me to, see, this one was wrong. This total tension was crap on this one. So, sorry, pardon my French. Merde. Okay. So, I think what all of this is trying to teach me, because I do believe in the universe making things difficult for you until you listen, until you react to what it's telling you, whether you want to hear it or not. And frequently you don't want to know what it's saying, even though it is screaming in your ear, is to slow down, to be in whatever moment you're in. If it's not a good moment, if something isn't going right, and gosh, that's really happening this week, then it's okay to not get hyperventilatingly angry or upset that something isn't going the way it is supposed to. I'm waiting for an answer back from my teacher about camera settings, which I'm sure is just something easy, but it's not something I can see right away. That's okay. It's a weird day. It's a weird week. But the sun is shining, and it really is glorious out there. So when I finish this one, it's a slow thing, and there's something about, even if you have to rip something out, it's okay. As long as you don't put a hole through the fabric. Don't trust my luck on that one. But here we go. So I'm wishing you, from my corner of the universe to yours, a day of noticing and taking part. And even when those things are not the way you anticipated or not to your liking, is sometimes you just have to let go and let the universe do its thing. And then we're all good to go. This really was a ramble. But as I said, the camera's not doing what I want it to do. So what I had planned to do for today, I will do another day. And I will simply sit here for another 5 minutes before I have to get ready to go out and pick threads out. And rather than be frustrated by it, know that it's going to be okay. And it's going to turn into something quite wonderful eventually. And just the act of doing something slow and mindfulness with that act is a good thing. And hell, if that doesn't work today, I'm going to go back to bed and sleep till tomorrow and hope that tomorrow is better. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.